Hi, my name's Keith Cooper, Northlight Images, and in this video I'm just going to introduce a new lens I've got to test. Now it's a TTArtisan, that's a Chinese company, 100mm f2.8 lens. They've kindly lent me this one to have a go with because it is as well as a 100mm macro lens, it's a tilt shift lens. Tilt shift lenses are sort of things I test quite a lot. In fact, I've even written a book about tilt shift lenses if you really want to know about them. But this is just by way of an intro to the lens, the sort of things I'm going to be looking at, and also a request that if you've got any specific questions you want me to have a look at with regard to this lens, please do let me know in the comments. Now the lens itself, it's a fully manual lens. It's metal, so it's quite a weight, very solid. There is no electronics on it. Now there are actually two versions of this lens. There is the straight 100mm 2.8 macro, goes up to 2 times magnification, so it's quite good for that. And there's the tilt shift version. What's the difference between them? Well, the tilt shift version is longer. That's because the tilt shift version is for mirrorless cameras. It's a lens designed for, if you get an EF mount one, you don't get the tilt shift on it because you've got the mirror box on the camera. But that extra length has been made use of by making into a tilt and shift movement. Now I'll have more to say in the actual review and testing about how well it works. Goes from, say it's manual focus, nice stiff focus there, probably just over 90-degree throw on it. Goes up from 2.8 up to f22. The important bit on it though is that this one, and I'll be testing this on an EOS RP, in fact the one that I'm using for recording this, it has a tilt and shift movement. Now it's a fairly basic tilt and shift movement. I tested the TTArtisan 50mm recently, which was a tilt only lens. Well, this is a tilt and shift lens. The tilt and shift axes are locked at 90 degrees. There's no adjustment on them. It can be rotated in the lens mount. There's a little pin you press and it will move 90 degrees for movement there. Now I'll cover all of this and aspects of it, of how the lens performs when I do the review. I've tried a few samples and things of it, and there's a picture here. This is in the conservatory. I've used a bit of tilt. I've swung a lens to the right and then used the focus to actually get the line of focus running roughly along those line of cacti on the wall there. Now this takes a bit of setting up, but I've got lots of things about how to use tilt shift lenses. As a macro lens, quite a nice design. There's a lot of elements in it. It's a good optical design. The MTF chart suggests that if you use match shift you're going to get softness towards the edges, but it looks relatively good performing as an out and out macro lens. Now I'll take some samples with it and see how it goes. One little feature I'm going to notice, these little bits on the end of the lens here, these are where a shoe adapter goes. It's cold shoe, so no electronics. So you can attach lights, macro lights, to the end of the lens. We'll see how that goes. But I say it's a straightforward lens, very solid, nice, just a nice solid looking lens. The mechanism is a little slack. You need to tighten things up after you've adjusted it, so it's not got some of the subtleties you'd expect of big tilt shift lenses, but then they are massively more expensive. I'm going to be having a look at this to see how it performs as a macro lens as well as a tilt and shift lens. Remember that tilt gets progressively less useful as you get closer to the lens, with more magnification. So if you were thinking of being able to use a lens like this, focus close and have things at a diagonal like this and using tilt to run the plane of focus, forget it. The lens doesn't tilt enough. It goes about 8.5, 9 degrees most of tilt, so that's all you get on that. But then that's typical of almost any lens. So there we go. Nice lens. We'll see how it performs, but as if you've got any questions, please do let me know, particularly if you want to know how to use different aspects of macro with tilt, with shift and things like that, because that's the sort of stuff that I can do quite quickly, do videos explaining different aspects of it. Comes in a nice solid box, and from just taking a few shots out in the conservatory here, I could see this would be a good lens for if you've got yourself a mirrorless camera and you want to do some product photography for doing stuff, this is potentially quite a nice lens for that. But anyway, I'll do some more testing and get back to you on that one. So thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel. It is appreciated, and bye.